Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Cedar Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We'll tell you more about them later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up. We'll get into all sorts of controversial topics, so stay tuned for that, and some great guests along the way. It's going to be a great half hour. Now where we want to start though is talking about something called Walk with a Doc. I want to find out what this means, what it's all about. We do that with two very special guests. Our good friend Helen Mack, we call her Mack, is with us. She's a national volunteer, trainer, and advocate for AARP. And Helen brought along a special guest of her own. Harriet Miller is a Triad volunteer for AARP of North Carolina. Welcome, ladies. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Mack, I want to start with you. Now, tell us about being an AARP volunteer and what your connection is to Walk with a Doc.
So I am one of those people that have an encore career. After I retired, I went back to the university to get another degree. And in the process, ran into this thing called AARP and became a volunteer locally and then in the state and now across the country.
Right.
And it gives me a chance to be an absolute advocate for those of us who are over 50 and are really just moving into our prime.
Hey, I know what, as young people says, I feel you, you know.
Yeah, that is us.
I feel that. Harriet, what's the objective? Let me focus on this Walk with the Doc thing. What's the objective of Walk with the Doc? What's it about?
The objective is to promote better health. We have a doctor that walks with our invitees to walk and try to encourage them to eat better, to exercise more, just to have a much healthier lifestyle. Statistics show that, you know, just walking a few minutes a day definitely creates longer life.
Everything helps, doesn't it? Every little bit helps. Now, the event itself is in September. I think I wrote it down somewhere. Saturday, September 10th. Where is it going to be? Where does it start?
It's at Newell Massey Water Park. It's over in the water park off of on Waterworks Road. And this is it's a trail that the invitees come and just walk.
Now, can anybody participate?
Anyone can participate. We ask that everyone, of course, sign in so that we can, of course, know who has walked with us, and also we can invite them again to come back.
Good idea. Now, Mack, Harriet referenced that a physician will be walking along. To what degree would a physician or a physician's assistant be involved, other than sort of to help educate and promote, but are they getting really involved in this?
They are very involved. The Medical Society in Forsyth, led by Dr. Eli Beatty, has been our connection to that doctor piece of it. And the idea really is to exercise, educate, and empower older adults. And the doctors have been the real focus of what it's about, because they want everybody to be in the best of health that they can be.
Absolutely.
And our trail is just gorgeous. It's a paved trail. It's even, so it's great for anybody to walk. Even wheelchairs can come and walk with us.
Right. Now, Harriet, how many miles is it or that we do?
It's 1.2 miles each way.
Can I do less or more?
Oh, yes. You can start off in small increments. It's up to you how far, how much you can do. We like to encourage you to start off in small increments and, of course, reach a goal of 1.2 miles, or actually it will be 2.4.
All right. I want to mention this again, Saturday, September 10th, and I think the information's up on screen there, 9 to 10 a.m. is the walk time. Now, there are a couple things I want to point out on screen. You can email Mack through Helen Mack, and you can do it hmack@triad.rr.com. You can also go to the website events.aarp.org/WWAD, stands for Walk with the Doc, -NC. And the general website, of course, aarp.org/North Carolina, where you can learn everything. And I should just give you Mark Hensley's home phone number, but I'm not going to do that either. But hey, ladies, thanks for doing this. It's important work, and thanks for promoting people being healthy, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for being here.
All right. And we will be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, and the gentleman I'm about to introduce really needs no introduction, but he's somebody you've seen on this program many, many times before. He is a great innovator, a great community leader. He has been a great supporter and advocate for this show and for the entire area in terms of economic development, innovation, and revitalization. So my good friend is with us today. Finally got him back. Caught up with him. He's a busy guy. David Mounts, retired chairman and CEO of Inmar Intelligence. Good to see you again, my friend.
You too, Jim. It's my pleasure.
Some of the folks who might not have read the newspaper recently and they're listening to this at their house and say, wait a minute, let's run that back a minute. Did he say retired? And I did say retired.
Yes, sir.
CEO for 12 years, chairman for 8. Why now?
You know, I believe change is really important, and it was the right time for a change. You know, we had a great leader in Spencer Baird who could take the helm. I had thought about retiring actually at the 10-year mark, and then COVID hit, and there was no way I was going to consider it at that time. This timing's right now, and it allows me to transition. I'll be transitioning through the October timeframe, and then just have some board responsibilities at that point and begin to focus on some other priorities, which I'm ready to do.
Well, and I want to ask you about that in a second, and I know you don't like to brag on yourself, so I will brag on you by forming questions where you'll be forced to ask, you'll be forced to answer these questions. All right, here's the thing, seriously. In what ways were you able to transform Inmar Intelligence during your tenure?
Well, first, remember, it is a team sport, right? The team transformed the company over the last 12 years. When I started in 2010, you know, we were a back office business services company. We had about 2,000 clients. And we decided as a team to lean into technology. We saw cloud computing, the importance of data analytics, the importance of mobile, social media, all impacting the retail and healthcare clients that we served. And the healthcare was just a little teeny few, hardly any at that time. But we were able to lean into those technologies, and today the company serves over 17,000 business clients in retail and healthcare. Almost every hospital, clinic, retail, everyday retailer that sells groceries or pharmacies all use the Inmar data platform, and it's a data platform company today. It's not the back office, you know, niche services company. It's performing the most important data-driven functions for running the marketing functions, the supply chain functions, and the financial functions of those companies.
All right, let's go to revitalization, innovation. The innovation quarter sprung up and grew. A lot of things happened under your tenure at Inmar. What are some of those things, and what role did you play in it?
Well, again, it's always a team sport. We did this as a community together. In particular, the partnership with Inmar and Wake Forest is, I think, one of the most transformational partnerships that really impacted the downtown city. In 2012, I walked through what were shuttered for decades buildings. They were in pretty bad shape. And we held hands together then with Dr. McConnell and I, leading Inmar, we held hands to make an investment into those old tobacco factories and to those cigarette manufacturing facilities and turn them into high-tech wonders, which we did. And today we can proudly walk all the way from the Innovation Quarter, and once the Callidium and the downtown park are completed, which was not far away, I watched the construction, I live downtown, I watch it every day, and you can walk all the way to the ballpark, and we can be proud of everything in between, and it's a safe, beautiful, living environment that is wonderful. And I think that's an amazing transformation that we as a community made happen.
We have a few seconds left. Give me a quick comment on why you supported STEM education so much.
We need to do a better job. As our generation didn't do as good a job as we could have preparing the next generation for great jobs, I will tell you that the next big thing is advanced air mobility. AeroX, something we've had on the show and talked about. Every business is going to be impacted by this, $1.5 trillion industry by 2040. Every business should look at how they should be partnering or getting involved with the nonprofit AeroX.
Okay, and just to tell people what that's about with aviation and...
Yeah, this is advanced air mobility. This is the use of drones and other light aircraft for everything from analytics and data capture to air transport, air taxi, logistics. It's going to change everything, Jim.
I want to thank the good folks at Inmar. IntelligenceInmar.com is the website up on screen. And I want to get you back and talk, because you have a foundation too, right?
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about that sometime, and so we won't let you be a stranger.
That sounds great. It's always been my pleasure to be here with you, Jim, and I value our friendship very much.
Thanks for all you've done for everybody. Thanks, David. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, and usually about this time of the month, we check in with Mr. Theater, Dave Briggs, but Mr. Theater is off doing something theater-y, if that's a word, and in his stead is the lovely Rokia Worthy, communications specialist for the entire city of High Point, and thank you for taking time to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Before we mention some of the shows that are coming up, you've been using a lot of, you're a marketing specialist, and folks, I'll show you by the website address in a minute. It's a great website, and you do all these other things. What kind of various platforms and devices and things are you doing to keep people abreast of what's happening?
We really want to be able to keep shows right at people's fingertips, their eyes, their ears, that there's all forms being covered. So we've now started undertaking targeted TV ads. So if you're streaming something on your devices, as far as a TV show, you're able to see our ads. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, we're still utilizing social media to connect with our audience. With sponsored ads, so those seem to be still going very, very well with our motion graphics, fusing that flyer and video, and once you're getting kind of the information and you're getting the visuals in one, and also still keeping up with traditional as far as radio and newspaper, print ads, wherever we can have those placements.
Well, you're doing a great job, and speaking of that, here's a quick, I think a 30-second clip of something you can see that promotes the theater. Let's watch. I love that video, and I love the longer version too of that.
Thank you.
You did great work on that. All right, let's talk about some of the shows. September 24th, Smokey and Me. What is that?
So Smokey and Me is a celebration that is highlighting the life, the music, and the career of the icon Smokey Robinson. His career spans 4 decades, and he's just been here to give us all of the hits that we know and love so well. So Tony Award nominee Charles Brown will be with us, and Smokey Robinson gave his blessing and literally went to him. He portrayed him in Motown the Musical, and he went to him and said, "Hi, hello, me." So him saying "me" to Charles Brown let us know like he's definitely on board with it, and he was one of the producers for Motown the Musical.
That's just great. Now, going in an entirely different direction from great music to sort of a great actress and great innovator.
Yes.
Hetty, the show Hetty, October 7th. Most of the young people don't know who this is.
Yes, she was once considered the most beautiful woman in the world. We knew her for her Hollywood screen actress who was phenomenal. But also on top of that, it wasn't just the beauty, but it was the brains. Her being an innovator and really opening and introducing us to wireless communication, which is what we have today.
Yeah, she was an inventor, which, I didn't even know that until a few years ago, that she came up with this brilliant formulas and devices that, as you said, ended up sort of letting us be where we are now in terms of technology. Tannehill Weavers on October 8th. Remind us what that's all about.
So they are the world premier Celtic band. They're out of Scotland. So they will be joining us, and they do an awesome job of fusing the traditional Celtic sounds with the modern mix of rock and roll.
All right. And then Kathy Mattea on October 15th. Is she alone or with somebody? Or?
She is with Susie Boggess, so they are going to be a dynamic duo, sharing their stories and gift of music. And so people are so excited to be able to see these two come together.
Now, here's a name that I know, Jimmy Webb. He'll be coming on October 28th. I've known about him for a long time, very quickly.
Very, very highlighted American composer, singer, songwriter. He's a mentor and a leader when it comes to songwriting. So he will be joining us to be able to share his gift.
And Lone Star on October 29th.
Yes, another country music legend group that's coming, Country Music Award winning group. So we're excited to have them bring the best of what we know as country music.
I think of you and Dave Briggs as country music legends. I don't know what that means. All right, up on screen, if you want tickets, the best way to do it is call the box office 887-3001. Or for more information, go to that great website. Lots of details about each show, highpointtheater.com. Remember, it's 2 T's, highpointtheater.com. Rokia, thanks for standing in for old Dave.
I was glad to be here. Thank
Come
you for
back
having
anytime.
me. Will do.
All right. We'll be right back. Back now on Triad Today, and someone is with us, a first-time visitor to the show who helps to look after our kids in a very special way. We're with Kimberly Spencer. She's a licensed clinical mental health counselor with Northern Pediatrics in Mount Airy, part of the Northern Regional Hospital family. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What kinds of counseling services do you provide at Northern Pediatrics?
We provide outpatient mental health services for people with issues like depression, anxiety, family conflict, children of divorce, any kind of trauma.
And what ages are we talking about? From what to what?
From ages 5 on up, I see children, teenagers, and adults.
You know, I'm so stupid. I can see, the need for this with teenagers and whatever and all this rest. But you're saying up 5 years old, as young as
Yes.
5 or 6, because I guess kids 5 and 6 can have these problems.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Some have difficulties in school, and some have difficulty with managing their anxiety about going to school.
If I'm a parent and I see something I think needs to be attended to with this, the arena that you're talking about, should I bring my child to your office? Is that a requirement? Or, I guess since we've come out of the pandemic, everybody thinks in terms of telehealth and this kind of thing. Is that possible as well? Bring me up to speed on that.
Yes, we offer services, mental health services in our office. The initial appointment is in the office, but then after that, they can either meet with me in the office or do telehealth.
Now, in your role as a counselor, let me see how I want to ask this. What would be your relationship to the physicians at Northern Pediatrics? How do you interface with them? How does the team work? What do you think?
Because I'm on site, the doctors have access to me at any time. If there's a mental health crisis, I can attend to that, as well as if the doctors want to collaborate about medication, anything that I'm seeing in the office or hearing about in the office, we work really well together.
Well, now let's go back to recognizing something. I mean, is it difficult to recognize some of these problems, or do you just always know when a parent brings a child in, or how do they pick up on this? Does it come from a teacher, a family member, or what?
Yes, sometimes parents get a phone call or a text from a teacher saying, I've noticed that your child is having difficulty remaining seated, or is having a lot of anxiety coming into school, or they are having difficulty with completing their assignments, doing their homework, that kind of thing. And it might be that it's just simple anxiety, but it could be more complex. Like it could be related to childhood trauma. It could be related to, like, there's a conflict between the parents. I see several children, a lot of children that come from families who are in custody battles, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow. That's kind of sad. But now, you mentioned earlier some of the counseling services you provide. Just remind me again, what are, let's say, some of the 2 or 3 most common things that you deal with?
Probably the most common is anxiety. Lots of anxiety, especially with, like you said, the pandemic that has just occurred, that we've been going through for over 2 years. It's caused a lot of social anxiety, as well as a depression. But anxiety has to be my number one that I see in my office.
I know we didn't rehearse this or anything, but what led you to wanting to have a career in counseling?
Yes. So I've always wanted to help people. And when I was in college, I worked in or volunteered in a domestic violence shelter and homeless shelters for women and their families and their kids. And from there, I just felt led to go into the counseling field.
Well, bless your heart for
Yes.
doing this. You do provide such a great service, and the parents and kids are lucky to have you in this area. Up on screen, let me just give a plug for Northern Pediatrics. The number's on screen, 789-6267, and also a shout out to the good folks at Northern Regional Hospital. You can find out more information about them through choosenorthern.org, and I hope you will do that. Kimberly Spencer, thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to our good friends here at the Cena Botanical Garden. Check out the garden. Come here for your events. Website's on screen. We love them. And we love the guys here on the roundtable. Ogie Overman on my right, but always political left. Dave Plyer, chairman of the county commissioners in Forsyth County, is with us, a longtime friend of mine. I think he and I have known each other for 170 years. And Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, before we start, I'm going to go to Dave for a second. Sad note to report, Darren Ziegler passed away last week. A longtime protector of our community in terms of emergency medical services, and he held that post in Forsyth County, passed away, and boy, I miss him already. He was on Triad Today before. He's a great guy. Dave, give me a few seconds on what Darren meant to the county.
Well, you know, when you run for elective office, you don't really think too much about the staff that keeps the county running 24/7. And when you start talking about Ziegler, he was the man that most people talked about for this reason. Many people in a campaign would say, well, what's your major issue, or what is the big issue we got to listen to? And the issue was always emergency medical service.
And he kept us going on that. Yeah, fine guy. We miss him. All right, let's get to it, guys. Over 1 million North Carolinians are carrying some form of student college debt. But thanks to President Biden, unless the Supreme Court knocks it down, he's going to try to forgive about up to $20,000 of that debt if you earn less than $125,000. Guys, are you okay with taxpayers forgiving student debt? And if so, is the salary cap too high? Ogie.
Well, Jim, it's not a taxpayers aren't even in the equation. It's no money's changing hands. Money is not changing.
Unless it came through, what, a Pell Grant or something like that?
Yeah, well, Pell Grant is a different animal, but still, it's not taxpayer.
What do you think about
issue.
the cap, the salary cap?
I think it's fine. Yeah,
the 125.
Yeah.
Dave, what do you think about the $125,000?
In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, but I'm not there to see what they're making their decisions on. The basis of the decisions say you can do this and you can improve the country by doing this and turning loose as many people as you can who've got the education than it would be to clamp down on them and in some cases cause your country damage and the students damage.
Keith, what do you think?
I think number one, the cap is too low because a lot of people who are doctors and lawyers have these huge debts. So I think you should raise the cap and forgive those debts because many people are going to school for decades and they have big loans, and that's a problem.
All right, speaking of student debt and students struggling with, we talked last week about housing costs and colleges being so astronomical. Now we learn that the chancellor of North Carolina State University is the highest paid chancellor in the country, making over $2 million a year. That's including bonuses. Guys, very quickly, should our legislature put a cap on the chancellors of state-supported universities? Ogie.
Well, I think they can. Dave would know more, but legally they can do that.
But they can't do anything about the bonuses.
Well, that's the loophole. But yeah, I think that's outrageous.
Yeah, Dave, what do you think?
A couple of things come into my mind when you say things like that. Walk a mile in his shoes. The second one is you get what you pay for. If you pay for cheap stuff, you're going to get cheap stuff.
Well, Keith, do you think we can do anything about controlling the bonuses, though?
I think you should have bonuses actually because you want to have performances. You want to make sure that students are graduating. So I think what Dave said, you pay what you get, and I think it's okay.
All right, last week a Missouri school district reinstated spanking as a form of discipline in the public schools. Parents can opt out of the program if they want to. But here in North Carolina, each county has the right to do spanking if they want to. It's just that they don't choose to right now. I guess the question is, would you like to see our Triad area schools be required to go back to spanking? Or would you like to see a law passed in Raleigh that says it can't be left up to the county, no spanking at all? Ogie, where do you stand?
I remember about 40 years ago, Maggie Cassee was leading the movement to ban spanking in schools. And here we are again. I'm in favor of not spanking. I don't think it's great.
Total ban. Dave, what do you think? Spanking or not?
Students get away from, and they think they get away with everything, but they don't. Just the threat of getting a spanking will in many cases turn that particular rule of thumb off. What I would say to end my statement, you need to have some kind of discipline in the schools, and especially in the early grades where mom and dad do more than spank them, and you define it by saying it's not going to include belts.
All right, Keith.
No spanking at home, and if you try to spank some kids now, you're going to have parents that's going to be a major problem. That would definitely not be smart to do.
You can't turn the clock back then.
Cannot.
All right, California is expected to issue a ban on the sale of all new gas cars starting the year 2035. Is this a good idea? And would you like to see North Carolina follow that lead, Ogie?
Yeah, it's a great idea. I think we'll probably be one of the last states to do it, but yeah, it's a great idea.
Dave, what do you think?
I was born in California, and I lived there until I was in the second grade, but I got to tell you, I don't know how it's going to work in California.
What do you think, Keith?
That's a terrible idea. I'm not. You can't even travel a long way with these electric cars. I mean, it takes 10 hours to get to Atlanta in an electric car right now for having to charge it up. I need gas, man. I need gas.
I think I've got gas. All right. Finally, guys, we happen to be taping the show on August 31st. And, guys, today is what they call National No Underwear Day. Guys, do you observe this holiday in any way, the No Underwear Day? Ogie?
I used to a lot. The older I get, it seems the more clothes I wear.
Do you observe a National No Underwear Day, Dave?
Anything for an exciting evening, you know.
Keith, what about you?
I just can't do that. It's just impossible for me to do that.
Oh, man. I'd like to forget that I heard that.
I didn't say anything.
Speaking of forgetting, we all forget things from time to time, but fortunately, scientists have now come up with a cap that you can wear. Inside the cap are electrodes that the scientists say will help improve your memory. Asked what he thought of the memory cap, one patient said, "What cap?" See, he didn't even remember that. All right, for all of us here, don't ever talk to Keith about National Underwear Day.
I didn't say anything.
We'll be back next week.